Hello everyone, welcome to a Paper Flourish craft video. My name is Julie. Today I would like to introduce you to a product we now have in store. It's from Stamperia and it's called Porporina. Recently in store we were very fortunate to have Farrell Taylor from Stamperia. She came in and took some lovely workshops with us over a weekend. Incredibly talented. The projects were amazing. In one of those projects, she introduced us to this product, Porporina. It is a strong pigment powder. It comes in, we have it in the gold, we've got it in the silver, and we also have it in the copper. This is the copper here. The copper is in a slightly larger container. That's just how it came. And I'm going to give you some ideas on what you can do with this incredible product. But this is now in store at Paper Flourish and also on our online store, paperflourish.com.au. I'll just pop these to the side for a moment, just up here. Get rid of this. Porporina. So it is a pigment powder. So if I brush it onto something just as it is, it's not going to stay on. It'll brush, you can dust it off. It's a powder. So the first thing I wanted to show you is how to colour something with Porporina and what to use to do it. Now there's lots of different products you could use. These I'm finding I really like using the Stamperia Wash It. This is a water resistant finish, but it works really well. It's a good liquid consistency to use with the Porporina. And this will help the Porporina to bond to whatever it is that you're colouring. Stamperia Fluid Gloss as well, that will work. I've tried it with the this is Stamperia again, their transparent gloss varnish, and it works really well. You can use Glossy Gel, and I'm going to show you that shortly. So lots of different products you can use. But if you're looking at colouring something, painting it with the Porporina, I would probably go with one of these three. So I'll just pop those to the side. I'm going to go with the Wash It today. So what I'm going to do is squirt a little bit of the Wash It onto my paper palette. These are fantastic, these paper palettes. At the end, once you've finished all your crafting for the day, you just fold it up and pop it in the bin, and they come on a pad. They're from Montmartre, and we do have those as well in our store and online. So I've put some of the Wash It here. Now I'm going to get a fan brush. Find this is the easiest way, and there was a video put up by Stamperia, and this is how I saw that. I think it was Alda was taking the Porporina out of the pot, and that works extremely well. So I'm going to try I think we'll go with the gold. So I'm just going to open it up. See the beautiful pigment? It's like painting with liquid, like gilding. This is what this stuff is like. It's amazing. I'm just going to take some of this out on the fan brush, sprinkle it here. Now, the more Porporina you put in, the more solid the colour. If you want it to be a little bit more transparent, you wouldn't add as much Porporina, but you still don't need too much. A pot of this is going to last you for ages. That to the side. Now I'm going to get a brush over in my pile of brushes, mix that around. Okay, looks pretty good. Now I'm going to show you how to paint this. This is one I did earlier. This is a resin frame. We have these beautiful resin frames, 7 paper dolls. And again, they're available in store and online. 3 different types. They look nice just put on a card like that, but they look amazing decorated with this Porporina. I'll list everything I'm using in the contents, of the video, the description. So if you're looking for a particular product, you can always check there. Now let's try this rectangle one. So I've got the gold mixed with the Wash It, and all I'm going to do is paint this onto the frame. I've painted the frame twice, given it a dry with the heat tool, and now it's got that beautiful gilded gold finish on it. Isn't that lovely? Gives you a really nice solid coverage. Now I have found with this product, it does not matter if the base is, say, light or dark. It'll still give you the full coverage. That I mean, for example, this resin piece I made, I had painted that with the Stamperia Black and Matte Superbase, so it was completely covered black. For example, like this butterfly, this is how it was. And then I've painted it with the Porporina, the gold, and it's given that complete solid coverage. So let's do the same with this butterfly. I've still got my gold up here. So it really doesn't matter what the underneath is. Now with Stamperia, the Stardust powders, these ones here, which is, I've done a video on, we've played with those before with the beeswax. They work best on a dark background. Yeah, they come out a little, the colours more vibrant on a dark, but I found really whether it's a light or dark colour background, really doesn't matter. So you can see that had the ivory underneath, the ivory frame. Again, I could do a second coat and make it even more gold, but you wouldn't know that there underneath that is the black. So that's something sort of different with these powders. This is the copper. Similar thing, I painted one of the resin frames with the copper. Porporina, that's a really pretty colour. The silver, I haven't got one painted solid silver. We're going to be using the silver shortly, so see that it's, again, really nice on these frames. Now, another thing we can do with this is paint. So I've got the Porporina here mixed in with the Wash It, the gold. Where's a fine brush? I've got my Lavinia brushes. So you could use this to colour images, and if you've had some stamped images on your page, or just to do some outlines, some writing, anything at all. So I've got my brush. You can paint this. It dries permanent, won't come off, especially when it's mixed in with these bonding agents. And so we're using the Wash It, so you can just use it to paint. But how pretty is that? Let's move those off the mat onto here. You can see there. And look at the shine. So you can imagine there's so many different things you could do with this incredible product. Now you can use it with the beeswax. So the Stamperia Beeswax, you can use it the same way. So this time let's do, I've got another frame over here. Let's have a play and maybe use some of the copper. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of the beeswax on my finger. Quite a bit of beeswax on my finger, a little bit on the mat there. Pick up a bit of the copper Porporina, and I'm just going to go straight onto the frame. Again, this will dry permanent with the beeswax. Rubbing it on my finger, you can rub it on with a brush. So it will also work that way. Looks really pretty, doesn't it? So it's picked up the ornate part of the frame with the ivory in behind it. So you can use this product with beeswax. So if you've bought that already, especially when we did the videos on the Stardust powders, another way you can use that beeswax. So it looks really pretty. This is when I did similar. I did this with the gold earlier. It's given it a real sort of antique vintage look, hasn't it? So that's another way you can use this product. The Glossy Gel, a little bit thicker, the Glossy Gel. We use this to attach, I use it a lot to attach products in mixed media, building up a collage of products, a composition. Excuse my arm, I'm just reaching across here to get a brush. So I'm going to take a little bit of the Glossy Gel, so it's a much thicker, not liquid like the Wash It. Put down there. And I'm going to mix in with this. Let's do some of that copper. Let's get the copper this time. So again, I'm just going to take the copper out with the fan brush. Mix it in there with the Glossy Gel. So I've mixed up the Glossy Gel with the copper Porporina. I've just got a dry brush here. This is not wet, so I'm going to pick some of this up. Now this is a resin piece, which I have painted with the Black and Matte Superbase. And all I want to do is just do like a dry rub over this. So Glossy Gel and the copper Porporina. And I love the look of this. Absolutely beautiful. Look at the sheen and shine on that. Now I've got a similar piece painted in the white. This has been sealed with the Stamperia Primer. So let's try the same thing. See, I haven't tried this on the white. Oh, this looks pretty. That's really interesting that with the Glossy Gel, and that with the dry brush that rubbed the Porporina on. It's very different this case where it's the dark background and the light background. It's a little bit more transparent. I haven't given that absolute solid coverage, which I did with the frame. And so you do get quite a variation of colour. Another idea for the Porporina, I've painted this resin butterfly. First, I used the Black and Matte Superbase. Then I have painted it with the dark blue vintage patina. I did a couple of coats. So now it's that really deep navy blue colour. This time I'm going with the silver Porporina. And I'm going back to the beeswax. A little bit on my finger, not too much. You don't ever need too much. Pick up some of the Porporina and I'm just going to rub it over the butterfly. Again, it's picking up the ornate parts of the mould. Then you've got the blue shining through. Isn't that stunning? Absolutely beautiful. So how easy was that? And Porporina can also be used to create a really nice card background. So I've got my splatter box ready to go. This is a piece of Lavinia Multifarious cardstock. I'm going to be using two colours of the Stamperia Aquacolour spray. I've got the turquoise and the leather. So I'm going to spray just some of this onto the, sort of cover the card with the spray. I want it to be nice and liquid on top. And here's the leather. Shake, shake, shake. This is definitely steampunk colours happening here. And then while it's still wet, I'm going to pick up one of the Porporinas, might go with the gold, and I'm going to sprinkle this into the Aquacolour spray that's still wet on the card. And then dry it. So the card's now been dried. And have a look at this, the gold. I used a fair bit of Porporina in this, so there's a lot of gold. You could have it lighter coverage. I can't rub that off. It's not coming off of my fingers. It's set into the Aquacolour spray, which we know those sprays do dry permanent. If you were stamping on this, I would stamp with black archival ink. We could just use it as a beautiful background. Look at the shine and shimmer. Similarly, you could use Porporina in alcohol inks. Make up your alcohol ink blender background, sprinkle the Porporina in and let it dry or move it around a little bit and it would look stunning. So that's, you can use it to make an amazing background. Gel press. This is Roland the gel press, which is the 5-inch circle, and I've popped it on a Lavinia acrylic board. This is the large one. Just a piece of white cardstock. I'm going to brayer first. I'm going to brayer some of the Lavinia Midnight Blue Elements ink onto the gel press to make a really nice dark background. Just rolling that and pop it. So the copper. Now this time I'm going to mix this with water. Fan brush takes some of the Porporina out, not too much. Too much there, but that's all right. So this time I'm just going to spray it with water. Where's my water sprayer? There it is. Looks really funny when it's sprayed with water, doesn't it? Fan brush, I'm going to go with my Lavinia fan brush this time. Pick it up. It does look like liquid metal, doesn't it? And I'm just going to flick this onto the gel press. I'm going to put lots. There we are. And let's give that a wipe around the side. Don't you love that Lavinia called a gel press Roland? It's fantastic. Where's that piece of cardstock on? There it is. Just got a 6-inch square of cardstock. I could use Multifarious, so I just picked up a piece of cardstock that I had there. I'll wipe that off the edge. All right, let's pop this over here onto the card. Why I use the acrylic board when I do this, the acrylic plate, is that I can see exactly what's happening here and I can play around with it, until I get the effect I want. I can see how part of it's light here. That means it hasn't printed. So you just got to press it until everything prints. I put a fair bit of Porporina and water on here, so I reckon it's going to look pretty cool. Okay, let's take that away. And we've got this amazing striking background. I've dried the card with the heat tool. Now I did use a fair bit of Porporina and water. I probably didn't need to use quite so much, but you can see there, I can't rub it off with my finger. It's settled into the background. Look at the Porporina shining away there in the background. Really lovely. As I said, you probably, well, I didn't need to use quite so much Porporina and water, but I do like the effect. So it will work really nicely to add the shimmer into your background of your gel press images. One more thing I wanted to show you. This is one of the new Lavinia stencils. This is called Cryptic Large. I'm just going to pop that on there. Now, where's that product? This is Stamperia Gilding glue. Pop it on my paper paintbrush. And I'm just going to add some of this to the background. Just a couple of little places, just painting on the gilding glue. Really important to get this gilding glue off your stencil as quick as possible. So I'm going to do that. Dry this as well with the heat tool. When it's dry, it's tacky. The gilding glue, when it's dry, it goes clear, but it's still tacky to touch. I'm going to use the silver Porporina this time. This time I'm just going to pick some up on my finger and rub it over that gilding glue. It'll pick up where I've stenciled. Takes away the tackiness as well. So another way you can use this incredible product. Fluffy brush, brush any excess away. Look at that. Copper in the background. Now that is full on Porporina, isn't it? But can you imagine the different effects you can use with that gilding glue and the Porporina and the shimmer. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I've given you some ideas of what to do with this amazing product that is now available at Paper Flourish in store and online. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you. Bye.